The dinner party was going well. Too well, perhaps. Sarah had that particular gleam in her eye, the one I'd learned to recognize over our 5 years of marriage. It meant she was about to say something she thought was clever, something designed to get a reaction. We were seated around the Hendersons' mahogany dining table, surrounded by 3 other couples from our neighborhood. The wine had been flowing freely, and the conversation had drifted from local politics to home renovations, and finally, inevitably, to relationships. "You know what I love about Daniel," Sarah said, her voice carrying that sing-song quality that made my stomach tighten. She gestured toward me with her wine glass, and I felt every eye turn in our direction. "He's so reliable." The word hung in the air like a wet blanket. Reliable. It was the kind of compliment that felt like an insult, the kind of thing you'd say about a Honda Civic, not the person you'd chosen to spend your life with. "Reliable is good," Jennifer Henderson offered diplomatically, but Sarah wasn't finished. "Oh, absolutely," Sarah continued, taking another sip of her Chardonnay. "My ex, Marcus, now he was exciting. Spontaneous. You never knew what he was going to do next." She laughed, that carefully practiced laugh she used when she wanted something to seem casual when it wasn't. "With Daniel, I always know exactly what to expect." The table had gone quiet. Tom Henderson cleared his throat. His wife suddenly found her plate fascinating. I could feel their discomfort radiating across the table, but Sarah seemed oblivious, or perhaps she simply didn't care. "Marcus used to surprise me with weekend trips to the coast," she went on, her eyes slightly glazed from the wine. "Random adventures. He was passionate about everything: art, music, life itself. Remember that trip to Barcelona I told you about, Jenny?" Jennifer nodded uncomfortably, clearly wishing she could be anywhere else. I sat there, my fork suspended halfway to my mouth, watching my wife compare me unfavorably to her ex-boyfriend in front of our friends and neighbors. This wasn't the first time she'd done something like this, but it was certainly the most public, the most humiliating. "Marcus sounds exhausting," I said quietly. Sarah turned to me, eyebrows raised, that smile still playing on her lips. "What was that?" I set down my fork carefully, took a sip of water, and met her eyes. I said, "Marcus sounds exhausting. But then again, isn't that why he's your ex? Couldn't hold down a job for more than 6 months, right? All that passion and spontaneity didn't pay the rent when his art career wasn't panning out." The smile began to fade from Sarah's face. "And those surprise trips to the coast?" I continued, my voice still calm, almost conversational. "Weren't those funded by his parents? I distinctly remember you telling me about how frustrated you got when he'd make plans without checking if you could get time off work, or if you could even afford to go." "Daniel," Sarah started, her face flushing. "And Barcelona," I said, turning to Jennifer with a pleasant smile. "That was the trip where Marcus got so drunk at a bar that he got into a fight and spent the night in a Spanish jail, wasn't it? Sarah had to call the embassy and use her emergency credit card to bail him out. She came back 2 days early and cried on my shoulder. We were friends then, about what a disaster it had been." The silence at the table was now absolute. You could have heard a pin drop on the carpet. Sarah's face had gone from flushed to pale. Her mouth opened, then closed. The gleam in her eye had been replaced by something else. Shock, perhaps, or the dawning realization that she'd pushed too far. "But you're right," I said, picking up my fork again and spearing a piece of asparagus. "I'm reliable. I pay our mortgage on time. I remember your mother's birthday. I don't get arrested in foreign countries. How terribly boring of me." I took a bite and chewed calmly while the table remained frozen in uncomfortable silence. The drive home was silent. Sarah stared out the passenger window, her arms crossed tightly across her chest, while I focused on the road ahead. The tension in the car was thick enough to cut with a knife. We'd made our excuses shortly after my response, with Sarah suddenly claiming a headache. The Hendersons had been gracious, but I'd seen the mixture of pity and awkwardness in their eyes as they'd walked us to the door. Tomorrow would be the talk of the neighborhood. As I pulled into our driveway, Sarah finally spoke. "That was cruel." I turned off the engine and sat there for a moment, hands still on the steering wheel. "Was it?" You humiliated me in front of our friends." "Really?" I turned to look at her. "Because from where I was sitting, you were doing a pretty thorough job of humiliating me first." "It was just a joke, Daniel. You're so sensitive." There it was, the deflection, the minimization. It was always just a joke when she said something cutting. My reactions were always too sensitive or overblown. I got out of the car without responding and headed toward the house. I heard her door slam behind me, her heels clicking rapidly on the pavement as she hurried to catch up. "Don't walk away from me," she said as I unlocked the front door. I stepped inside, flipping on lights as I went. "What do you want me to say, Sarah?" "I want you to apologize." She threw her purse onto the hallway table with more force than necessary. "You aired our private conversations in front of everyone. You made me look like a fool." I turned to face her, and something in my expression must have struck her because she took a small step back. "You compared me to your ex-boyfriend," I said slowly, deliberately, "in front of our friends. You called him exciting and passionate while calling me boring and predictable. You reminisced about your romantic trips with him while sitting next to your husband. And you want me to apologize." "I didn't call you boring." "Reliable," I interrupted. "You called me reliable in a tone that made it clear you meant boring. Do you think I'm stupid, Sarah? Do you think I don't understand subtext?" She opened her mouth, then closed it again. I could see her trying to formulate a response, trying to find a way to twist this back around on me. "I've been reliable," I continued, my voice steady but hard. "I've been the person who picks up the pieces when your impulsive decisions fall apart. I'm the one who supported you when you wanted to change careers. I'm the one who deals with your mother's passive-aggressive comments at every family dinner. I'm the one who pretends not to notice when you come home from girls' nights and immediately jump in the shower." Her face went white. "What are you implying?" "I'm not implying anything," I said. "I'm stating facts. You've been texting someone named Marcus for the past 3 months. You've been taking lunch breaks that last 2 hours. You've been distant, distracted, and now tonight, publicly comparing me to your ex. You've been checking my phone." Her voice rose, outrage replacing shock. "You left it unlocked on the kitchen counter last week," I said. A message popped up. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow," with a heart emoji. From Marcus. The blood drained completely from her face now. She stood there, frozen, caught. "So here's what's going to happen," I said, my voice calm despite the storm of emotions inside me. "Tomorrow, you're going to tell me the truth. All of it. Who Marcus is, what's been going on, and why you thought it was appropriate to throw him in my face at a dinner party. And then we're going to decide what happens next." "Daniel, it's not what you think." "Tomorrow," I repeated. "Tonight, I'm sleeping in the guest room. I suggest you think very carefully about what you want to say." I walked past her, up the stairs, and into the guest bedroom. Only when I'd closed and locked the door did I allow myself to lean against it, my hands shaking, my heart pounding. 5 years of marriage. 5 years of being the reliable one, the steady one, the boring one. And all the while, she'd been looking for excitement elsewhere. I woke early, having barely slept. Through the guest room door, I'd heard Sarah pacing in our bedroom until well past 2 in the morning. Now, at 6:30, the house was silent. I showered, dressed, and went downstairs to make coffee. Sarah appeared in the kitchen doorway at 7, looking terrible. Her eyes were red and swollen, her hair uncombed, still wearing yesterday's clothes. She looked like she'd aged 5 years overnight. "Can we talk?" she asked, her voice hoarse. I poured 2 cups of coffee and sat down at the kitchen table. She took the chair across from me, wrapping her hands around the mug as if trying to draw warmth from it. "It's not an affair," she began. "Not physical, anyway." I said nothing, just waited. "Marcus reached out 3 months ago. He found me on social media. He said he'd been thinking about me, about us, about how he'd made mistakes when we were together." She stared into her coffee. At first, it was just catching up. Old times. Then it became more. "Define more," I said. We started talking every day. About everything. He told me he'd changed, grown up. He has a real career now, working in graphic design. He's in therapy. He said losing me was the wake-up call he needed. She looked up at me, and I saw desperation in her eyes. He said he never stopped loving me. And you? I asked. How did you respond to that? She swallowed hard. I told him I was married, that I loved my husband. But what, Sarah? But I didn't stop talking to him, she whispered. I liked the attention. I liked feeling desired, exciting. With you, everything is so settled, predictable. I started to wonder if I'd made a mistake, if I'd chosen safety over passion. The words hurt, but I'd expected them. I'd felt the distance growing between us for months, had noticed the way she looked at me, or rather, the way she didn't look at me anymore. Did you meet him? I asked. Twice, she admitted, and my heart sank. For lunch. Just lunch, I swear. We met at a cafe downtown. We talked. That's all. You lied about where you were. I said I was shopping, meeting girlfriends. She wiped at her eyes. I knew it was wrong. I knew I was crossing a line, but I couldn't stop myself. And last night, at dinner, I think part of me wanted you to know, wanted you to react, to show some emotion, to prove you still cared enough to be jealous. I let out a bitter laugh. So you humiliated me in front of our friends as some kind of test, to see if I'd get jealous. I know how it sounds. Do you? I leaned forward. Because from where I'm sitting, you've been having an emotional affair with your ex-boyfriend, you've been lying to me for months, and then you publicly disrespected me to provoke a reaction. That's not a cry for attention, Sarah. That's cruelty. I know. Tears streamed down her face now. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I messed up. But it made me realize something. I don't want Marcus. I don't want excitement and spontaneity if it means instability and drama. I want you. I want our life. You want what's comfortable, I corrected. You want the security I provide while fantasizing about the excitement he represents. You want to have your cake and eat it too. That's not fair. Isn't it? I stood up, my coffee untouched. Here's what I realized last night, Sarah. I've been so busy being reliable, being the stable one, being what I thought you needed, that I forgot to ask if you even valued those things. I forgot to ask if you respected me. I do respect you. No, I said firmly. You don't. If you respected me, you wouldn't have engaged with Marcus in the first place. If you respected me, you certainly wouldn't have thrown him in my face at a dinner party. You took advantage of my stability, my trust, my love. And now that you're caught, you're scared of losing that safety net. She stood up too, reaching for my hand. Daniel, please. I love you. I made a terrible mistake, but I love you. We can fix this. We can go to counseling, work through this together. I looked down at her hand on mine. 5 years ago, I would have done anything to keep her. I had done anything to keep her, mold myself into whatever she seemed to need, swallowed my own desires and dreams to support hers. I need time, I said, pulling my hand away. I need to think about what I want. What I deserve. What does that mean? It means I'm going to stay at a hotel for a few days. It means you need to cut off all contact with Marcus. Phone, email, social media, everything. And it means you need to decide if you actually want this marriage or if you just want the comfortable life I provide. Where will you go? That's not your concern right now, I said, heading toward the stairs to pack a bag. Your concern should be figuring out who you are and what you actually want. As I packed, she stood in the bedroom doorway, crying. Part of me wanted to comfort her, to fall back into my reliable role. But a larger part, a part that had been growing since last night, knew that being reliable had become being exploited. I had some thinking to do too. The hotel room was sterile and impersonal, which suited me fine. I needed space free from memories, from the weight of 5 years of trying to be enough for someone who was always looking elsewhere. On my second night there, my phone rang. Tom Henderson. "Hey, man," he said when I answered. "Jennifer wanted me to check in on you. We felt terrible about how dinner ended." "Not your fault," I said. "I appreciate the call." "Look, I'm just going to say this because someone needs to," Tom continued. "What Sarah did was out of line. Way out of line. Jennifer has been friends with her for years, but even she was shocked." "Thanks, Tom. There's something else," he hesitated. "That guy Marcus. He was at the wine bar on 5th Street last Friday. Jennifer saw him with Sarah." My grip tightened on the phone. "You're sure?" "Jennifer is." She almost went over to say hi, but something about the way they were sitting, close, intimate, made her uncomfortable. She didn't mention it because she thought maybe it was work-related, but after Saturday night. After we hung up, I sat on the edge of the hotel bed, staring at nothing. Sarah had lied again. Not twice. At least 3 times. Maybe more. The next morning, I called a lawyer. Just for a consultation, I told myself. Just to understand my options. Attorney Rebecca Chen was sharp and empathetic. She listened to my story without judgment, taking notes. "You have grounds for divorce if you choose to pursue it," she said. "Emotional infidelity is still infidelity. The question is, what do you want?" "I don't know," I admitted. "Then figure that out first," she advised. "But in the meantime, I'd recommend documenting everything. Keep records of her contact with this Marcus person, the lies about her whereabouts. Not because you necessarily will need it, but because you might." That afternoon, I drove to our house while Sarah was at work. I went to our home office and accessed our shared computer. What I found made my stomach turn. The messages went back 4 months, not 3. They were flirty, intimate, nostalgic. Marcus talked about what could have been and second chances. Sarah responded with complaints about our marriage, how boring I was, how routine our life had become, how she felt trapped in suburban mediocrity. There were photos too. Marcus had sent her pictures of himself at the gym, in a new suit, at art galleries. Sarah had sent back photos I'd never seen, selfies taken when she was supposed to be at work or running errands, angled and filtered, clearly meant to impress. But the worst was a message from 2 weeks ago. "Marcus, leave him. Life is too short to settle for safe. Come back to me. Sarah, I can't just abandon everything. The house, the stability, my reputation in the neighborhood. It's complicated. Marcus, so I'm good enough to fantasize about but not good enough to actually be with. Sarah, that's not what I meant. I need more time to figure things out." I sat back in the office chair, feeling sick. She'd been keeping me as a backup plan while exploring whether Marcus could offer her something better. The dinner party hadn't been a joke or a test. It had been her way of starting to publicly distance herself from me, planting seeds that our marriage wasn't satisfying, preparing people for a potential split. I took screenshots of everything and emailed them to myself. When Sarah got home that evening, she called me immediately. "Your car was here today. Why were you here without telling me?" "It's my house too," I said calmly. "I needed some documents." "What documents? Does it matter?" I could hear her breathing on the other end. "Daniel, please come home. We need to talk in person. I hate this, you being in a hotel, us being apart." "You hate not knowing what I'm thinking," I corrected. "You hate not being in control of the narrative." "That's not true. I saw the messages, Sarah. All of them." Silence. "Then, you had no right to go through my private conversations. And you had no right to emotionally betray your husband while pretending everything was fine," I shot back. "But here we are. Please, can we just talk? Face to face." "Fine," I said. "Tomorrow night. 7 o'clock. Riverside Park, by the fountain." "Why not at home?" "Because I want neutral ground," I said. And because I don't trust myself in that house right now. The next evening, I arrived early and sat on a bench facing the fountain. The park was quiet on a Wednesday evening, just a few joggers and dog walkers passing by. Sarah arrived exactly on time, dressed carefully in jeans and a sweater I'd always loved on her. She looked nervous as she sat down beside me, maintaining a careful distance. "I ended it," she said immediately. "I told Marcus it was a mistake, that I'm committed to my marriage. I blocked him on everything." "When?" "Yesterday. After you said you'd seen the messages." I nodded slowly. "So not because you wanted to, but because you got caught." "That's not fair." "Sarah," I interrupted, turning to face her. "I need you to stop and really listen to what I'm about to say. Can you do that?" She nodded, looking frightened. "I've spent the last few days thinking about our marriage. Really thinking about it. And I realized something. I've been trying so hard to be what you needed that I lost track of what I needed. What I deserved." "You deserve everything," she started. "Let me finish," I said gently but firmly. "I deserve a partner who values me, who sees my reliability not as boring, but as something precious, who appreciates that I show up, that I keep my promises, that I've built a life for us that's stable and secure." Tears were rolling down her cheeks now. "You've been looking for excitement, for passion, for spontaneity. But real love, lasting love, isn't found in grand gestures and dramatic moments. It's in the everyday things. The reliable things." "I don't want a divorce," Sarah said desperately, grabbing my hand. "Daniel, please. I'll do anything. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want. I'll spend the rest of my life making this up to you." I looked down at her hand on mine, remembering all the times those hands had held me, comforted me, built a life with me. But I also remembered the messages I'd seen, the lies she'd told, the humiliation at the dinner party. "The question isn't what you want," I said quietly. "It's what's best for both of us." "Being together is what's best," she insisted. "We have history, a home, a life. 5 years of marriage doesn't just disappear because of one mistake." "It wasn't one mistake, Sarah. It was months of choices. Hundreds of small decisions to prioritize your own excitement over our marriage." I took a breath. "But you're right that 5 years means something. It means I owe us both an honest evaluation of whether this can be saved." "It can," she said immediately. "I know it can. I'll prove it to you." I pulled my hand away gently. "Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to give you a chance, one chance, to show me you mean what you say. But it comes with conditions." "Anything?" "First, we start marriage counseling immediately. Not next month. Not when it's convenient. This week." "Done," she said. "Second, complete transparency. I need access to your phone, your email, your social media. No passwords, no locked screens, nothing hidden." She hesitated for just a moment, then nodded. "Okay." "Third, you need to tell me the truth about everything. How many times you actually met Marcus, what you talked about, what you felt. I need to understand what I'm dealing with." "I told you, it was just lunch." "Sarah," I said, my voice hard. "Tom Henderson saw you with him last Friday at the wine bar. That's 3 times, not 2. And if I can verify one lie this easily, how many more are there?" Her face crumbled. 4 times, she whispered. "We met 4 times." "Where else?" "Coffee twice, lunch once, and..." She swallowed hard. "He came to the house one afternoon when you were at work. We just talked, I swear. He wanted to see where I lived, how my life had turned out. The thought of Marcus in our home, in the space I'd worked so hard to create for us, made my blood boil. But I kept my voice level." "What else?" "That's everything. I promise." "You promised to forsake all others when we got married," I reminded her. "Your promises don't carry much weight right now." She flinched, but I continued. "Fourth condition, you need to figure out why you did this. Not just I was bored or I wanted attention." Real self-reflection on what's missing in your life that you thought Marcus could fill. Okay, she said. I'll do that. What about you? What will you do? I'm going to figure out if I can forgive you, I said honestly. If I can rebuild trust. If I can look at you without seeing all the messages, all the lies, all the times you chose him over me. Can you stay at the house? Please? Having you gone makes everything feel more broken. I shook my head. I need more space. But I'll come home on Friday evenings and stay through Sunday. We can spend weekends together, go to counseling, try to reconnect. But weekdays, I need distance. How long? I don't know. Until I know. We sat in silence for a moment, watching the fountain splash in the evening light. A jogger passed by with a golden retriever. Normal life continuing around us while ours hung in the balance. I'm sorry, Sarah said, her voice breaking. I'm so sorry for hurting you. For taking you for granted. For making you feel like your love wasn't enough. My love was enough, I said. It was always enough. The problem was never me, Sarah. It was that you were looking for something I couldn't give you because you hadn't figured out what you actually needed. I need you, she said. I know that now. You need security, I corrected. Whether you need me, specifically, or just what I represent, that's what we're going to figure out. 3 months later, I sat in Dr. Morrison's office, our marriage counselor, waiting for our session to begin. Sarah arrived right on time, as she had for every appointment. She'd been trying so hard, I had to give her that. She'd been completely transparent with her devices. She'd written me a 20-page letter explaining everything she'd felt and thought during those months with Marcus. She'd committed to individual therapy twice a week. She'd even suggested we take a couples cooking class together, trying to inject some novelty into our routine. And slowly, painfully, things had started to shift. How was your week? Dr. Morrison asked us, settling into her chair. Good, Sarah said, glancing at me. We went hiking on Saturday. Daniel's idea. It had been my idea. I'd realized that part of what Sarah had been craving was unpredictability, adventure. I'd been so focused on being steady that I'd forgotten to also be interesting. And we're planning a trip, I added. Portugal in the spring. Dr. Morrison smiled. That's wonderful progress. Daniel, how are you feeling about the state of things? I considered the question. The pain was still there. I didn't know if it would ever fully go away. The betrayal had cut deep, had made me question 5 years of memories. But something else was there too, a cautious hope. I'm feeling like we might make it, I said honestly. Some days are harder than others. I still have moments where I see her phone buzz and my stomach drops. But they're getting further apart. What's helping? Dr. Morrison asked. The honesty, I said. For the first time in our marriage, maybe for the first time ever, we're really talking. About everything, our fears, our needs, our disappointments. It's uncomfortable, but it's real. Sarah reached over and took my hand. I let her. I learned something too, Sarah said. I spent so long thinking that exciting meant better, that spontaneity was the same as passion. But real passion is showing up. It's choosing someone every day, even when it's not exciting. It's building something together that can weather storms. And Marcus? Dr. Morrison asked. Was a fantasy, Sarah said firmly. A fantasy of who I used to be, who I thought I wanted to be. But I don't want to be that person anymore. Uncertain, unstable, always chasing the next thrill. I want to be someone who appreciates what she has. After the session, we walked to our car in the parking lot. It was a crisp autumn evening, leaves crunching under our feet. Can I tell you something? Sarah asked. Always. That night at the dinner party, when you responded to my comment about Marcus, I was furious at first. Humiliated. But later, lying awake in bed, I realized something. It was the first time in years you'd really fought for us. For yourself. You'd been so accommodating, so understanding, that I'd started to take you for granted. Your response shocked me into seeing what I was losing. I nodded slowly. I realized something too. Being reliable doesn't mean being a doormat. I can be steady and strong. I can provide security while also having boundaries. The two aren't mutually exclusive. I'm proud of you, she said, for not just taking me back without question, for demanding better, for demanding that I be better. Are you? I asked. Better. She thought about it. I'm trying to be. Every day, I'm trying. 6 months after that night at the Hendersons, we renewed our vows in a small ceremony in our backyard. Just us and a few close friends, including Tom and Jennifer Henderson, who'd become unexpected allies through this whole ordeal. I'd moved back home permanently 2 months earlier, once I'd felt confident that Sarah and I were rebuilding something real, something stronger than what we'd had before. As we stood facing each other under a simple arch decorated with white flowers, I thought about the journey we'd taken. The betrayal, the pain, the slow and difficult work of rebuilding trust. It hadn't been easy. There had been setbacks, hard conversations, moments where I'd questioned whether I was making a mistake. But there had also been breakthroughs. We'd learned to communicate instead of assuming. We'd started dating each other again. Real dates where we talked and laughed and remembered why we'd fallen in love in the first place. We'd created new memories to replace the ones tainted by her betrayal. I promised to value you, Sarah said, tears streaming down her face. Not just for what you provide, but for who you are. I promise to see your strength, your kindness, your steadiness as the gifts they are. I promise to choose you every day, in ways both big and small. When it was my turn, I took her hands. I promised to maintain my boundaries while opening my heart. I promised to be both reliable and surprising. I promised to forgive, though I won't forget, and to build a future with you that honors both the pain we've been through and the love that survived it. Later, as we cut into the small cake Jennifer had baked for us, Tom pulled me aside. You did good, man, he said. Not many people could have handled this with the grace you did. I don't know about grace, I said. There were moments I wanted to burn it all down. But you didn't. You took the time to figure out what you really wanted. That takes strength. I looked over at Sarah, laughing with Jennifer, looking lighter than she had in years. I wanted to know if we could salvage something worth keeping. Turns out, we could, but only by tearing down what we had and rebuilding from the foundation up. That night, as we cleaned up the backyard together, Sarah stopped and looked at me. Thank you, she said. For what? For giving us a second chance. For not letting me off easy. For demanding that I be worthy of you. She paused. You could have left. Part of me thought you would, maybe even that I deserved it if you did. But you stayed, and you made me work for it, and that made all the difference. We both worked for it, I said. That's the only reason it worked. As we walked into our house together that night, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, optimism. Not the naive belief that everything would be perfect, but the hard-earned confidence that we could handle whatever came next. We'd been through the fire. We'd both been changed by it. But we'd emerged on the other side not as the couple we'd been, comfortable, complacent, taking each other for granted, but as something new. Something forged in honesty and rebuilt with intention. I'd learned that being reliable didn't mean being boring. It meant being there when it mattered. And Sarah had learned that excitement and security weren't mutually exclusive. They just required effort, commitment, and the willingness to keep choosing each other. Some stories end with a dramatic exit, a clean break, a fresh start apart. This one ended with a harder choice: to stay, to fight, to rebuild. Not because it was easy, but because what we had, once we stripped away the lies and faced the truth, was worth fighting for. And sometimes, the sharpest response isn't walking away. It's standing your ground, demanding better, and having the courage to see if something broken can be repaired into something even stronger than before.